Remember, Dolly Parton once lost a Dolly Parton look-alike contest, but she still won everyone's hearts. Until we meet again! Remember, peanuts are used to make dynamite, which explains why some people think peanut butter sandwiches are explosive. Until we meet again! Remember, Vin Diesel is a seasoned voice actor, but he still hasn't won an Oscar for his role as Groot. Until we meet again! Remember, Game of Thrones Night's Watch cloaks are made from IKEA rugs, because nothing says, I'm prepared for winter like a rug from Sweden. Until we meet again! Remember, Friday the 13th was filmed at an actual camp, and people kept scaring campers away, which is why they had to use actors instead. Until we meet again! Remember, the house from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre is now a family restaurant, where the special of the day is always finger-licking good. Until we meet again! Remember, your childhood high school shows were all shot in the same place, which explains why they all look so familiar. Until we meet again! Remember, lobsters communicate with pee, which is why they're not allowed in swimming pools. Until we meet again! Remember, 90% of US money has cocaine on it, making it the most expensive way to get high without even trying. Until we meet again! Remember, the organs in Grey's Anatomy surgeries aren't fake, but the drama certainly is. Until we meet again! Remember, the Millennium Falcon was inspired by a burger, which is why it always looks so deliciously fast. Until we meet again! Remember, The Simpsons creator intended for Homer Simpson to be Krusty the Clown, but they decided to go with the yellow guy instead. Until we meet again! Remember, the CDC website has a zombie preparedness section, because you never know when the undead might decide to take over. Until we meet again! Remember, 7% of Christian Americans pray for a parking spot. Until we meet again! Remember, a man once hired someone to slap him to avoid checking Facebook, proving that sometimes a virtual poke just isn't enough. Until we meet again! Remember, U.S. President Coolidge used to sound emergency bells as a joke, because nothing says presidential like a good prank. Until we meet again! Remember, there's a company you can pay to kidnap you, because sometimes you just need a break from adulting. Until we meet again! Remember, in Russia, you can get fined for driving a car that's too dirty, because cleanliness is next to rubles. Until we meet again! Remember, thousands of people write to God yearly, but unfortunately, the return address is always heaven, so the post office has a hard time delivering the mail. Until we meet again! Remember, Lara Croft's PS1 proportions were a mistake, but hey, at least she was prepared for any impromptu limbo competitions. Until we meet again! Remember, the CIA spent $25 million on spy cats. But unfortunately, they all got distracted by laser pointers during their missions. Until we meet again! Remember, 152 people in the U.S. are named LOL, which makes family reunions a constant source of confusion. Until we meet again! Remember, your brain uses 12 watts of energy to think, which explains why some people's heads are always so bright. Until we meet again! Remember, anatidophobia is the fear of being watched by a duck, which is why Donald never leaves home without his sunglasses. Until we meet again! Remember, cans of diet soda will float in water, regular soda cans will sink, because even in the ocean, calories still count. Until we meet again!